Good day, guys. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. And as always, thanks for being here. The support is always very much appreciated, man. Very much appreciated indeed. An interesting squad for the upcoming Nations League games. We're going to talk about that. The squad was officially released today. And, very interesting squad. Very interesting squad. You know what was even more interesting? I did not see the other assistant coach, John Wall, at the press conference. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Normally a press conference of this magnitude, John Wall would be there. I wonder why John Wall was not present at the press conference earlier today. Your guess is as good as mine. Probably it's not best for John Wall to be sitting in front of cameras with a microphone at this time. I don't know, people. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I'm just here speculating, right? Anyways, but a very interesting squad. Very interesting squad. A squad that will have an uphill battle, an uphill task, to say the least, against the United States of America first, and whoever loses in the other semi-final will play them in the third place playoff. If John Wall, let me talk foolishness about John Wall. If Jamal Grimson wins this game, this upcoming Nations League semi-finals, the haters can't chat to Jamal Grimson after that, because this is an uphill task, people. If Jamal Grimson wins this game, the haters them have to take a back seat. Bad mind have to go hold a chill pill and bill. If Jamal Grimson win this game, bad mind have to go chill. You have some people who are not the biggest fans of Jamal Grimson, but if he wins this, man, it would be a very, very, very big deal in more ways than one. The press conference happened earlier today. We're gonna run through a couple of things, a couple of the highlights from me personally in the press conference, and also talk a bit about the squad that was released in the press conference as well. For starters, it was a constant theme throughout the press conference. Jamal Grimson was talking about leaks in the media. I'm sure you guys picked that up as well. He seemed to want to stress that point, and he seemed to have been very frustrated, by leaks that have been taking place. Some of it I understand why he would have an issue with it. Some of the leaks that he complained about, I never really see the big deal about. Well, I guess the overall context of him not feeling secure, with information going out like that without approval. I understand his side of the argument that he would want to keep things in house for many different reasons, right? So I totally get that, and that is fair and that is fine. And I also understand the other side of the coin, the media side of the coin, in terms of engagement, in which does help Jamaica's overall program and helps individual content creators and media platforms as well. And also transparency is key, and I'm a big proponent of transparency. But it was interesting to hear that he constantly kept on referring to leaks throughout the entirety of the press conference. He said something in the press conference as well that grabbed my attention, that they are adding a sports psychologist to the setup, not so far. I don't think it's in an official capacity for the upcoming Nations League games, but basically to help with the integration of a psychologist for when they really want the psychologist, which will be for Copa America. I think that's a big deal. Things like this will go a far way in creating the type of environment that you want around the national team, added professionalism, and added elements that can help to, in attaining success. This is an even this is an additional element that will, you know, further help in success being attained. So, you know, I like the look of that, and I really applaud that. You know, excellent move from, you know, everybody involved, really and truly, for bringing a sports psychologist, you know, in the mix. And to be honest with you, it's kind of long overdue, right? Also, the addition of former Reggae Boyz like Baby Gardner and Altiman Butler. We have seen Altiman Butler in previous, you know, camps with the Reggae Boyz, but you know, I like the concerted effort from High Mahal Crimson to have former Reggae Boyz, you know, in the camp and, you know, in the environment and stuff like that. So, you know, that's a good look, right? That's a very good look. We all know the players that are out. You know, we knew them even before this squad was announced. You know, Ethan Pinnock is out. Amari Bell is out. Injuries for both. You know, massive blows in defense. The left side of our defense has always been the strongest side of our defense. You know, that will be put to the test, you know, for these two upcoming games. Those two are out for both the semifinals and either the final or the third place playoff. Shamar Nicholson and Demarai Gray will be out for the USA game, which is especially, well, both Shamar and Demarai Gray are massive misses, but especially for me, Demarai Gray, you know, I think the team struggles without Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray, I've spoken about this in prior videos as to, you know, that controlling element that he brings to the national setup, which I don't see any other player in the team with the ability to do that anywhere near the level that he can do it. And then obviously the goals and the assists, and he's just a massive player for us. The team plays very differently without him. So, you know, and he should be blamed for that. When we go on within the last game versus Canada, in the latter stages was foolishness. Somebody needs to teach him how to game manage. Big English Premier League winner and not know how to game manage. See him and game manage responsibly, right? Leon Bailey is obviously the biggest exclusion from the squad. It's none of us ever expected that a match squad would ever be released and Leon Bailey is fit and healthy and not included in a Reggae Boyz squad release. You know, it's truly it's a very strong stance from Heimal Grimson. I hear some people criticizing it. Rubbish. Absolute. I nearly go forgot say a word I shouldn't say. Absolute foolishness. Absolute bull jive. Strong stance from Heimal Grimson. Absolutely necessary and should be applauded. That's the sort of discipline that we need to see in the setup going forward. I will do a video on that individually, speaking about that individual issue. I think it deserves a video on its own. Also, Trevante Stewart, you know, is not in the mix as well for disciplinary reasons as well. So even though Trevante Stewart at this time is not as big of a miss, obviously, but you know, he probably would have made the team on merit if he was, you know, eligible for selection if he didn't get himself into disciplinary problems. A little bit more on the squad itself. Good to see the youngster Bailey Kada Martari. Yo, I'm not so sure how you pronounce that youth name, but all I know is that this youth is an outstanding young talent, and you know, a very exciting prospect for the national team going forward. One that I am happy to see, you know, will be capped very early so that later on, if he become the player that he looks like he will become, in a tug of war with England for this baller, you know, very good young player, this teenager from the championship, Sheffield Wednesday, very good young prospect indeed, right? Good to see Ronaldo Cephas back as well. You know, we haven't seen him for some time. He's a baller who I think can add a lot to our team, especially coming off the bench. What he brings to the setup can be very dangerous indeed. You know, he would be even more important to the setup now, considering Demarai Gray's omission for the first game. By the way, did I mention Nicholson and Gray will be back for the second game, but they won't be playing in the first game, hence their inclusion in the squad nonetheless. But, you know, it only made sense for Cephas to return. You know, it had to happen, especially, you know, given the circumstances at play currently, right? I'm very happy to see him back. Good to see Jamal Lowe back as well. You know, it made a lot of sense as well for his inclusion, you know, at the current time, given the current scenario. You know, me not Corey Burke inclusion as well. Corey Burke has a good goal scoring record for the country. And I think, you know, he's slightly better than what a lot of people give him credit for. So, you know, you know, it's good to see him back as well, you know, for sure. Especially, again, given the current circumstances surrounding the amount of, you know, exclusions, you know, based on the current circumstances. It's safe to say that the gaffer narrate Wes Harding. I think it's safe to arrive at that conclusion right now, that the gaffer does not rate Wes Harding. He's a player that I have some time for. Richard King is better than Wes Harding, boy, I mean, I know. I know Wes Harding hasn't featured in Millwall's squad for the last couple of games now. He hasn't been in their matchday squad. Doesn't appear to be injured. You know, I'm not seeing any reports of, there's no reports of him being injured. He just has not been included in the squad, you know, according to the coach of Millwall. You know, if that is the reason, okay, fine. But then Daniel Johnson is in the squad and he hasn't featured for his club in quite some time. So the argument of, and in a much longer time, he hasn't featured for his club than Wes Harding. You know, Wes Harding has not featured for, like, he hasn't been in the matchday squad for the last 2 or 3 games, going off memory. Daniel Johnson hasn't featured for his club for a longer time period than that. So the argument of not playing on match fitness and all of that, not really, I mean, you get what I said, the inconsistent, like, what's the reasonable excuse for Wes Harding not being in the squad? If you don't rate the baller, just say you don't rate the baller. Me personally, I can't see a JPL player being better than a player who has started so many games in the championship. He's a championship level starter. Is a JPL player better than him? Boy, I mean, I know. Dixon's inclusion, Kaheem Dixon, good young prospect. Will he be able to add value in games such as this? Boy, I know. Possibly a waste of a spot in this. Well, to be fair, going forward, there won't be many opportunities to give young players opportunity, you know, because there are a lot of important games going up. So if you're going to do it, it doesn't really matter if you do it now or if you do it in the future. You know, I guess you could look at it from that perspective, because there are a lot of big games coming up, important games. Can he add value at this level? I don't know. Let us see. Good young prospect, though. He's a young baller I have a lot of time for. The midfield department, as per usual, is the worst out of all the departments. I mean, we all know the issues there where that is concerned. You know, makeshift ballers, very young ballers, you know, not enough ballers, and ballers who are good enough to add value, like a Daniel Johnson, haven't really been playing much in the last number of weeks for club. The wing department is an issue for me as well. There's a shortage of wingers, especially those who can play on the right-hand side of the attacking third. You know, there is no left-footed winger in the squad. So there goes Imahal Grimson's beloved inverted option. And the only player who has any real consistent experience playing on the right is Bobby Deckard over Reed, and he is usually deployed in other positions under Imahal Grimson's tenure thus far. So, you know, those are my observations of the squad. You know, that's what I think of this current squad. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think about this current squad. Let me know what you think about my opinions on it, and give yours as well. Knock up the likes button, subscribe, and share. Hopefully this squad is good enough to get the job done. Can we win the Nations League? who knows, the first test will be against the United States of America, and what a test it will be, especially with a number of the players that will be out for that game. But we wish the Reggae Boyz all the best in the upcoming window. Take care, stay safe, and until next time.